2025. I'm Natalie, and I'm here to share the year ahead tarot energy forecast for the collective. This is something I do every year, and I wanted to move it over to YouTube this year. We've had some technical teething issues, but that's okay. If you haven't found me live, you will have found me on the replay, and that's exactly how and where you're supposed to watch this. So I'm working here with my tarot deck Ruby to call in the energy for this year, and it's already been such a potent beginning to the year. 2025 is a year. Okay, we've already got our avatar card. I'm going to put that aside. It just flew out. 2025 is a year that I've been energetically connected to for probably the past 5 years. Personally, I've known that some huge transformation is going to occur this year. Personally for me, but I think for the collective, because when we have personal transformation, there's always, the micro is a macro and the macro is a micro. So there's always some influences, triggers, opportunities that are being presented to us from the external, from the universe, from the collective experience. So my biggest passion with tarot, if you haven't watched me before, is to connect in with the collective energy, the quantum field, where all the information exists, regardless of time and space, tapping into the collective field to call in the highest guidance for us as we move through this new year. And what does that look like in my reading? Well, I'm going to be pulling 5 cards, perhaps more if I need some extra insight, but generally it will be 5 cards. The first one is an avatar card or an archetype card that's going to kind of like encapsulate the character of this year. And that is also going to inform the next 4 cards that I pull, which will be in the order that present themselves, how they want to be seen. But they are going to be messages and tarot guidance for our physical bodies and the physical reality, and emotional guidance, mental guidance, and physical guidance. So while this is a collective reading, the information that I'm going to be communicating to you is going to help you on a personal level because it's going to be shared via those lenses. So I'm going to be tapping into the big themes, the big energetic themes of this year, the challenges that we're going to be facing, the huge opportunities that lie ahead for us to really align with our purpose and potential and highest service. And anything else that pops up. Sometimes the tarot comes through with messages of kind of humor. So hopefully we get some entertainment from this reading as well. So while I warm up my cards here, I'm just going to quickly post on Instagram. This is something that I normally do on Instagram. Like I said, I've been doing these readings for the past few years, but given that these are long readings and people really like to watch them not on that app because it's hard to do with a long video, I thought I'd start doing them on YouTube. So if you have any feedback about this this platform, this format as we go, please let me know. I'm just going to do some extra tech stuff now just to make sure this is working. Let's see. Yeah, we're live. Okay, that's great. So I got chat. Yes, I do. Okay, cool. Let's get back to the reading. All right. So I mentioned that there'll be 5 cards. If you are watching live and you have questions, I'm not doing any personal readings right now. I might pop up on YouTube to do those in the future. But if you have questions about the cards that are coming up or anything to do with the collective, what we're going to be experiencing this year, pop that in the chat and I'll bring it in. So the first card is our archetype card for this year. And this is a big card. Sometimes it doesn't reveal its full message um, immediately, because the cards that come next really interact with this card. Um, and one thing I'll say too about the cards as they come up is that we won't understand their full meaning. These cards are going to carry us through the whole entire year. So the meaning that come through these cards is going to be unraveling in real time for us this year, but it allows us to have insight into what we can expect. And that allows us to have confidence and be able to prepare for some of the perhaps challenges, and also make the most of these opportunities that are going to be coming to us. So, all right, Ruby feels pretty warmed up now. I am going to I'm going to pull. Now, if you see me laugh at cards, usually it's because I've had some sign from this card previously, or there's some humor coming through. Sometimes I might make a shocked face, and that's because I'm surprised about the card. I don't see any cards as good or bad in the tarot. They are all just energies. So the card that I have here is the seven of swords, and it was reversed. So I do read reversals. That means that this is going to be a challenge for us this year. And so this card is a minor arcana card. So even though this is a collective reading, we're working with big universal energy here. There's personal lessons for us this year. This is going to feel personal to us. So, and for me, the main message that's coming through here is authenticity. So a lot of times when people see this card, they're thinking about it, and often it is relating to what you're living through, what other people may be doing to you. So we see some sneaky behavior in this card. We have someone whose kind of feet is taking them in one direction, but their head's looking to the past, So something's happened. We can see that the person's kind of dancing off, running off with swords, four swords, two are left behind, and we've got five, actually, five in the arms, and two are left behind. And it's usually a card that talks about deception, but for me, I'm seeing it more as self-deception, but not in a negative way, and not that the deception is negative towards us anymore, because a huge part of this card for me is the yellow. So much yellow in this card. Yellow is light, yellow is source energy. So for me, yellow is very spiritual, very activated. And what I'm feeling is that there's two challenges here that are going to continuously present themselves throughout this year. There is going to be the opportunity and the challenge to actually show up authentically, and then the other is that there's deception, but this isn't new. And this is why this isn't a scary or evil or negative thing for us. We're waking up to the fact that there's constantly deception going on around us. And I think it is a challenge for us to connect deeper with our intuition, understand our own truth, and really be discerning with what information we take on board and what we align with our truth. Is this truth coming from us? And that outside influences just affirm what we know? Is our truth evolving and the outside information is helping us to find deeper wells of truth within ourselves? Or is it the fact that there's deception, delusion going on, shenanigans at play? And actually, like, shenanigans is one of my big keywords for this year, which I think there's a bit of shenanigan energy going on in this card, actually, because swords are about the mental energy. And when we talk about shenanigans, often that's mind games. And I think from a collective perspective, we're all a bit sick of the mind games, and we're all wised up to them now. We've gone through our processes of waking up to the point where we can see through the BS, and we don't want it anymore. It just gets in the way. It's noise, it's pollution. Um, and also, where we're at now, the veil's so thin that we can't be deceived the way we used to be anymore. We don't just believe, we don't just go along with. We have seen so much truth unravel, and have connected with the vibration of that truth, that the shenanigans that have worked in the past don't work anymore. So this is an archetypal theme for this year, that when we're challenged by the energies of games and deception, we are challenged to like firstly rise above and beyond that and see it for what it is, and detach from it, because so much identifying in the past 5 years has been around who I am in relation to whichever mind game or whichever deception. So if you're into conspiracy theories, that's a big one. Like, which, you're a conspiracy theorist. You don't believe what the kind of overlords are telling us. That's all nonsense, and that becomes your identity. But here, it's like a deeper level of authenticity that goes beyond that. We're detaching from who we even are in relation to those stories because they don't matter. And I think that's why this card's reversed, because it's going to be a challenge this year continuously to see through that BS and use we this can be about using our voices, because it is a swords card, which also has to do with communication, that vibration of the messages we're sending out and what our words are speaking. So, and that's also receiving and listening and processing and what we do with that information that comes through our field. Just seeing if there's anything else that wants to um Yeah, this is the other thing. So if we take this as like the people who are playing the mind games with us at that macro level, at that cosmic level, that universal level, they think they're like getting away with something. But actually, if you look in the card here, there's people in the background who are just like, they're just living their lives. They're detached from it. They're oblivious. Like, what can you actually take from us? So that's why it's so important to stand in your authenticity. And this is going to be a great challenge for us. Whenever a reverse card comes up for me, pretty much every time, it's presenting a challenge to turn this card up right so we can move to the next lesson. So this, sometimes people can see it as being stuck. For me, you can get stuck if you're not doing the work to actually realize the lesson and then clock it and move on. So it's a process this year. It's a process to understand how these mind games work, how this misinformation. Be aware. I'm sure this isn't news to you, but be aware that these terms are reversed on us. This is part of the gameplay. If people are saying things like misinformation, and branding one kind of information as misinformation, but theirs is the truth, you always have to be suspicious of this, because there's no one single truth. Everyone's truth is unique to them, and it's based on so many things. It's based on your own experience, your own intellect, your own belief system, and there's no one truth, and that's okay. So always be aware and be mindful of people who are pushing their truth on you, but also just be wise to the to the mind games that have always been worked, and people just, even if they didn't agree with them, they accepted it. I think part of what's happening, when another thing that can happen with reverse cards is we can see what would happen if this was actually reversed. All these swords, all these programs that the programmers of these games play with us, they're in control of them, they're holding them, right? They'd fall to the ground. So this is part of this as well. This kind of stuff's falling away now because it doesn't have the power it used to have over us, and that's incredibly transformational if we want it to be. All right. More about this card's going to come up. So I'm going to put it in front of me. So the next cards that we're going to be pulling are 4 cards to have very specific guidance for us to help us navigate this year in regards to our emotions, our thoughts, and our communications, our spiritual beliefs and actions, and our will, and what am I missing here? Physical, and our physical reality, our material reality, our manifestations, what's happening on Gaia, and also our bodies this year. So what wants to come up first? I'll let the cards tell me which order they want to be seen. Physical wants to be seen first. Okay. So what's a physical guidance for this year, 2025, for the collective? How can we best serve our material reality? What do we need to know about what our Pachamama will be experiencing and sharing with us this year? Let's have a look. Physical 2025. Hmm. Okay. We've got the Four of Pentacles. So Pentacles is an earth correspondence. So this is deeply physical. Hmm. This is interesting. So part of the pentacle sign is obviously money, and that's also part of the physical material reality, is not so much the financial system because that's kind of like conceptual actually, and banks on our belief in money, but there's real effort we put into working, to get the coin and then transfer that into something that we want to manifest for ourselves, whether that's our lifestyle, paying bills, or that's actually buying something or building something. That's why we go to work to do those things. So, ah, this is linking now with this card of this shenanigans, and games and things like this. So there's games to be had this year in the material reality, and this, I'm going to be honest, it's not often for me that the Pentacles cards show up and want to talk about money. It's often for the collective, deeper than that. It's often more about the world and our bodies, but this feels very much about money because all we see here is a man and his coins, right? And what I'm feeling based on our archetype card that's already come through, the Seven of Swords, is that there is going to be lots of opportunity for play this year when it comes to money and finances. What does that mean? There's going to be lots of opportunities to invest in all sorts of things. This might be stuff that we already know about, like the share market and like Bitcoin, crypto, and stuff like that. There can be new, and now it doesn't look obvious from this card here, but it's because this card came up previously that I'm seeing this kind of gamification almost, that we're going to be invited to play in this space. So people who may have been more like this kind of guy who kept his coins close to his chest are even going to be feeling that messaging coming through from the collective that, oh, there's things you can do with your money to make more money. And so what I'm feeling from this card, four, is all about stability. And the first thing that we need to do with our money always is to make sure we have enough to feel stable and secure. That's important. So this is really what it's telling me. I think there's risk in playing too safe. This is one of the lessons of this card, the Four of Pentacles, that if you are too focused on basically hoarding your money, you miss out on fun. There's no one up here with him. You miss out on the opportunities beyond four. Four is still at sort of the beginning of the journey as we go through the numbers of cards in the minor arcana. We get to 10. There's still six steps in the journey and the lessons of growth and expansion that can be had. So that's where things like taking risk and investment, and whether that's investing in financial stuff or investing in yourself, like in study, or investing in your lifestyle or your dreams, travel, or building a home, things like that. So if you just keep your money and don't do anything with it, yeah, you'll feel stable and secure, but you're going to miss opportunities for growth and expansion. You're kind of going to cap yourself and your potential. So this is the thing. There are going to be new opportunities to potentially expand financially, but let's be sensible. Let's be responsible, not overly responsible, but let's just also keep in mind, is this a real opportunity or is this game? Is this shenanigans? Just to make sure that we don't lose our footing that we've been so carefully building. Um, a lot of us have been working really hard to feel secure despite what's happening in the world. So we don't want to lose that level of security, but we also don't want to keep ourselves in this space in a way that blocks our potential. So let me just feel more into this card. Yeah, the other thing I'm hearing is like that, see these kings that hold on to the money, that sit atop, towers above the rest of us. that they're the ones who talk to us about money as well. And that's cool. There's a lot to learn. But there's more to it. There's more to that game of manifestation, right? And I think this is part of what this card is trying to communicate. This isn't a normal kind of reading for this card, honestly. It's a little bit different. Um, that the people in our physical reality that hold these coins, like the coins at their crown chakra, the coins at their heart chakra, the coin is in between their connection with the earth, at their feet there, they're they're blocked from like the full experience here, if that makes sense. And so yeah, I'm kind of getting the lesson now. With manifestation, with manifesting things that we want, that we desire into our physical reality, in this year of 2025, we are going to cap ourselves at 4, and that's fine. That'll be just enough, but we'll be limiting our potential unless we actually remove this blockage of energetic flow of telluric and like earth and cosmic energetic flow. That is important for being able to manifest the fullness of what's possible. And that's also what I hate using these words, the kind of programmers of our 3D, that's what they use. They use money to block our magic. So if we think of the magician card is activated with his connection or her connection to the cosmic source energy and the earth and source energy. They are a channel for magical creation. And when we are fully focused on money, it's not that it's not important, it is, but we limit ourselves with what we can create. And that's part of the power that's held over us in regards to this kind of thing, that they want us to focus on that so we limit our magic. And so this is a hugely powerful message around the creation that's possible this year in 2025 in your physical reality, and that means your world, your life. That it's more than that. It's it's fullness. So it's not like it's not money, it is. It's money, and it's not money or spirituality. It's not money or being of service. It's being of service and money. Being a fulfilling your kind of destiny with money, it, alongside money that grows and expands. So that's another thing. If you find yourself feeling like you've hit a cap or a wall that you can't push beyond this year, it's really important to think about how your thoughts and mindset around money is keeping you capped, and also what information you might be receiving in, say, the current news, or that you have in deeply ingrained programs based on what you've received your whole life around your potential to have more and create more. Because this isn't just about money, this is everything we create in our physical reality. So we don't want to be capped, okay? But we do want to still feel safe and secure. So don't take crazy risks just because there's lots of hype in the news or online about particular company shares, particular cryptos, or any kind of new technology that might emerge. Have your wits about you, and remember what I said at the beginning: tap into your source of truth, use your intuition, because your intuition will never guide you where you're not supposed to be. All right, that was physical. I'm just feeling into anything else. Is the only other thing I want to say about this, thinking about our physical bodies, because that's a bit more personal as well, is that everything's held quite close here. Oh, I'm getting metal plates. So there's like an opportunity this year for, how do I describe it? One, managing your health without the need to pay for things. So, and this is kind of a bit more of this sort of thrifty, kind of vibe, that there's going to be more opportunity to kind of inform yourself. There's going to be a lot of new information and new developments about health this year. And this is going to help you actually partly manage your own health, tune into your intuition, but also I'm feeling like, yeah, use the earth, use metals, use crystals. Okay. Use metals, use crystals. And the color of the coins is gold. Gold is very like connected with the sun. So using the metal of gold, whether that's physically or you're, spiritually connecting with that, energetically connecting with it as a way to connect with our full source energy, the pure source energy. All right. Okay, so that's physical. Emotional wants to come next. So let's ask Ruby to please show us the guidance for 2025 for our emotional health and well-being. What are the themes that we're going to be feeling this year? What emotional challenges and growth is this year going to bring us? Okay, let's do it. Emotional. Beautiful card. It's the Strength card. This is fantastic. This is such good energy. This is a huge, huge transformation that we're going to go through. This is actually a portal this year for emotionally, where we're going to both be challenged, but also come through that challenge with such new deep wells of strength, really deep inner strength. And this is super collective. I'm feeling this, that we all contribute to this so that humanity actually gains more strength this year. And when I talk about that, I'm talking about the light, against like the negative aspects of this side of things. If you didn't see earlier, this part of this card is kind of like some game playing and shenanigans from our the overlords of the macro experience. And if we see how these cards line up, there's amazing yellow energy here. And part of this card being reversed was that the old programs that used to work on us, the old communication through the news and that kind of thing, is falling away. It no longer has the same control it did. This is very obvious. This isn't new information. However, what's fantastic is that the levers that they used to pull would be through thought to trigger emotional reactions within us, most often fear. We're not afraid anymore. How cool is that? Those emotional triggers aren't going to work. They're not going to work in the same way. So they might find different triggers to pull, different levers, different emotions to play with this year. But we have built so much strength through, I think we've all gone through so much processing of emotions and actually wanting to learn about them, learn about what we feel and why we feel and how we feel them in our bodies, that the work that's been done by so many in the collective has strengthened everyone, even the people that we describe as not awake, right? And this has strengthened humanity, bolstered humanity to the point where we are so strong that the mental field that used to be so easy to penetrate, it's not working the same way anymore. We have built like this amazing protective force field, which is so awesome. And so let's talk about this strength card in the context of emotions. So I think this is huge because when we feel emotionally strong, we can kind of do anything, right? Personally and collectively. And there's been a lot of weakening of this. The systems really battered us over the past 5 years, and we're just now coming through this portal. Can you see what lies behind this beautiful maiden? It's an icy giant mountain. Now, when we see mountains in the tarot, it's really interesting to look at where they are. Is someone standing on one? Is it kind of very close in the foreground, or is it far away or in the background? So this is quite far away and in the background. And that's really powerful for us because we have traversed, like, think about what kind of a feat it is to kind of climb to a mountain. Firstly, you've got to overcome that incredible challenge. And for humans, it's kind of like the ultimate frontier. To go and like climb a mountain is one of the greatest physical feats and mental and emotional feats and spiritual feats that we can achieve. But not just that, when you get to the top of the mountain, you gain incredible perspective that you didn't have before. And you take that perspective back down the mountain with you. This is what we're seeing here. We are seeing that this maiden has climbed the mountain, gained that insight, gained that perspective, gained that bird's eye view of what's actually real and happening, taken that back down, and that's been able to provide her with such self-belief and confidence and knowing that she has been able to tame the lion, which is supposed to be an impossible feat. But how do we achieve the impossible? By like doing the impossible and proving we can do it, which is what she's done. She already has that in her arsenal. She knows she's done something harder than just like hanging out with a lion. So she can do it. She has that belief. And that is this portal up here. So this is one of my favorite symbols, not just in the tarot, but just in like our reality. It's the figure eight, the lemniscate, the infinity symbol, the Mobius strip. There's so many things that this is. And for me, this symbol has taught me. I work very closely with symbols, and this symbol has taught me a lot about potential and the quantum field. Basically, the 0 point is what exists in that center point. That's the point of all possibility. Anything can happen, all creation. And interesting, I talked about the magician before. The magician's another character in the tarot that has this symbol sitting above his head. And what's that? That's like the yes, it sits above the crown chakra, so that's a very activated, but it's even beyond because we see kings and other kind of powerful people with crowns, right? This is even higher than that. This is like the upper chakras that truly connect us with celestial wisdom, the amazing power of the stars and the cosmos, where anything's possible, where we're not limited by time and space, right? So this is a very powerful time emotionally, and our emotions really are a portal. The most powerful portal we have is actually our hearts. And so while this sits above her head in this connection to, it's showing deep wisdom, deep insight, deep perspective, um, deep knowing. Her heart's also clearly activated, because that's the main portal that we use to feel and transform. So what I love about this card is the lesson about surrender. And what does surrender mean? Does surrender mean giving up? No, it doesn't. Surrender means allowing and accepting and letting go of expectation. And in order to get to this beautiful, um, mutually loving, like, scene with this lion, where the lion's kind of surrendering to her because she surrendered to it. um it's showing us what her heart has been able to achieve. And my understanding, based on the work I've done with this card in particular, is that the main way she's been able to get this incredibly strange relationship with this lion, and I'm a cat person too, so I kind of get it. I got the inside goss. Um, she vibrates at the same level as the lion. And so what's the lion? Incredible danger. What's the lion? Massive fear. That's what the lion represents in the context of the how humans are supposed to like react to being this close to a lion. But she understands that if she's vibrating in those energies of fear and terror, she's not going to get the outcome she wants. And how do you align with what you want to create? You have to vibrate at the same level as it. So she has surrendered to accept that it's going to take work to tame this lion, and it's going to require her to confront her fears. She's going to have to confront her fears here and surrender to her fears in order to understand what it takes to tame the lion. So the lion, he represents what it is that we're challenged by, what it is that we're very afraid of, what it is that keeps us small, what it is that kind of controls us and limits our potential. She's not afraid. She faced her fear and she's been able to get through this next gate of pure self-belief, and what she will graduate from this card to the next huge cosmic lesson that comes after strength. So I just want to see if there's anything else here. The other thing, the lion is such a powerful animal ally because the lion is our greatest protector and companion through spiritual portals. So if you think of any temple usually will have lions at either side of the entrance of the gate. And that's because they're our guardians, protectors when we go into these beautifully, incredibly spiritual, sensitive fields. So when we step into a temple to make our prayers and to clear our mind spaces and to offer ourselves and to honor all that is, the lions are there protecting us when we're in that very sensitive space. So we don't have to be afraid anymore. One, the time is now to face our fears. And as we do that, we're going to go through incredible growth. We're going to open up so much transformation through ourselves. But it's all hinging on how we not just manage, but how we understand our emotions and how we honor them. And the lion's going to be protecting us as we go through this delicate journey. All right. Is there anything else I want to share about this card here? Yeah. So I just want to say as well that there's going to be challenges that present themselves to us this year that don't feel like they're humanly possible to overcome. This could be, this is going to be collectively, but it's going to affect us on personal level as well. We can overcome it because she shows us that it's possible. Okay. So it's really important. And it requires acceptance of what is, it requires facing your fears, and it requires surrender to the lesson and also the help as well. You know, that our guards are here to help us, our guardians. You know, our guardians are also our guards, if that makes sense. We are supported, we are protected, we're going to be okay. Now go for it, because when you face your fear, you will open up this quantum field and anything will be possible. All right, beautiful. Okay, mental wants to come next. Yeah, and just to reiterate, this is going to be so spiritually powerful for you and for us as a collective this year as well. As a collective, I can't stress this enough. As a collective, we are going to become so freaking strong. We are going to be stronger than we've ever been. And this is so powerful as well, because you might have talked a lot about or heard people talking a lot about this 2025 being a 9 year. So in numerology, it's a 9, which is like a powerful closing ending kind of energy where we're closing chapters. And I had a bit of a download about the 9 year, that it's not the same 9 year every time a 9 year happens, because once we create the endings and we've received the lessons, we've already graduated from that level. So the next time we get to a 9 year, it's compounded and expanded so much that we have never been faced with the opportunities that we will face or the challenges that we'll face this year. We will never have closed anything so important and so powerful by the end of this year. And that is just the nature of these numbers, right? And that's incredible. That's incredible. You know, I'm sure in history people have gone through more difficulty and have gained so much power through that process. But whatever it is that's happening, like in the collective energetic field this year, is going to be even more powerful than any time before. So yeah, big energies we're working with here. And also be mindful of that what is, because why not take these opportunities, right? What are you excited to close for yourself this year, to move beyond, to work through, right? Okay. So I said mental. Okay. Show us the truth and the wisdom for our mental energetic fields, personally and for the collective in this year 2025. What is the wisdom for our mental health and well-being? What is the medicine? What will be communicated to us this year? What will we perceive? All right. Mental. Okay. We have another 7. This one's 7 of Wands, and again, it was reversed. 7s are like quite powerful activations, quite spiritual, and they also hold a lot of wisdom, actually. There's a lot of wisdom in 7. All right. So I'll get to the reversal of this soon, but mental, this is really interesting because it looks it just really matches up quite well with this card, our archetype for 2025, the 7 of Swords reversed. So what we have here, Wands is the power of spirit, it's life force, it's our will, right? It's energy. It's like the true energy that exists within us and in the world. And if we think about swords being about thoughts and programs and also communication, the words, the vibration of the words, like the wands is representing that primal like source energy that's carried in those. And what is that energy programmed with that we receive? We receive the energy, and our mind, like how do I describe it? Translates the energy in the ways that our mind does, because our minds are so complicated, but like ultimately it's all energy, right? And so in this 7 of Wands, we're seeing a lot of energy being directed at this one man who is standing on a hill. So he has some more insight than perhaps the people below him, a slightly higher perspective. He might hold more power in some way, or he might have placed himself there unconsciously, which is really interesting because a lot of us, as we go through these journeys, and if we keep our minds open and we're aligning with our truth and our authenticity, we often do gain wisdom and have access to truth that other people either might not have stumbled upon yet, or we might have connected to intentionally and consciously, that helps guide us and helps us understand more about the nature of reality. And sometimes we find ourselves at a higher level without even intending to. So it could be a number of things happening here. But what we're seeing is a lot of energy being pointed at this person on this hill or this cliff or whatever it might be. And they're needing to keep a wand to defend themselves from this energy. So there is, this is a reverse. So there is this element of a need to protect our mental fields this year. Okay, because there's going to be a lot of energy directed towards our collective and therefore personal mental energy fields. What does that mean? Yeah, it means our minds. It also means the communication network, right? Because that's how so much of our information comes to us. And what do I mean by the communication network? Well, yeah, of course, media, social media, the internet, but also there's like in the etheric field, right? In that kind of energetic field, there's almost like a mesh of internet where trends emerge, and carry themselves and grow in influence. So there's many layers. There's also our grid lines underneath us, right, that hold energy and transmit energy. And I feel like that's perhaps a bit more to do with the earth than it is with us. I think the airwaves, if we want to see it like that, are much more where we do our influencing. But even the grid lines can also be used in this way to direct energy at particular places. And we would hope that it's for the greatest good for the most positive reasons, but often it's not, and we know this, and this is why we stand at this point of higher wisdom, higher knowledge, higher knowing, higher feeling, higher understanding, and mentally feel the need to protect ourselves, because not only is there lots of energy coming at us, but we don't know where this energy is coming from. We can't see in this card who's holding these wands, what the facial expression is that can tell us something a bit more about their intention. This is like information and communication from unknown sources that are here trying to penetrate the strength that we're building in our mental fields with nonsense, okay? And that's why this person is feeling the need to protect, because when good energy is coming to us, we want to we want to soak it all up, right? We go outside and we like let the sun send its rays to us to feel like alive and feel vital. Here it's not that kind of thing. And something really important to see in this card is the amazing blue sky, and there's no clouds either. So when we see clouds in the sky, often clouds, and they often sit around the head space, they have the potential to cloud our vision, cloud our hearing, pollute what's coming through to us. This is not happening here. This person has such a clear mind and he knows exactly what's going on. And he's not looking too stressed either. He's not looking victimized. He looks quite powerful in this position. So, what I'm feeling here and coming to the reversal aspect of this is that, again, it's going to be a challenge that we're going to have to overcome. It's going to be a continuous challenge for us this year to be aware of, that there's going to be this like nonsense information coming at us from all manner of sources, whether we know them and can identify these sources or not. And like I said, this can be us identifying either who's sending it, or that might be completely unknown. Where the hell did this information come from? But we at least might know we're receiving it through social media. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't even know where this information is coming from and how we're receiving it and why it's infecting our fields. And so this is a really important aspect. If you followed me for a while, you might have heard me talk about the fact that my biggest clair is clairsentience. Claircognizance, actually. This is a deep knowing, and usually it's ahead of the game. And so that doesn't make me better or anything like that. I just have, through my life experience, known or been able to feel into the energy before it arrives for most other people. And something that happened in 2024, this was absolutely huge for me. And it was so hard. It was the reason I kind of disappeared for a while, actually, was challenge to the mental field. And this, it took me quite a long time and a lot of torment to realize that a lot of these thoughts weren't mine and a lot of the energy wasn't mine. And my mind had to overcome that. I had to create techniques to actually fortify my mind from external energy that was negative, that didn't want the best for me from the outside. Now, a lot of people might call that psychic attack or whatever. I don't necessarily think that. I think that I'm just very sensitive to the energy in the collective field. And there was a lot of negativity in the collective field last year. And that has the potential to seep in through the holes, the tiny holes in the mesh of our like many layers of energetic body, right? Mental is like incredibly susceptible to being penetrated, infected. How else can I describe that? Even just like suggested to, if that makes sense. We can kind of be open to being gullible or suggestive. If how do I describe it in another way? We can be a bit too open, to other people's ideas or other people's truths, and or even just unknowingly a bit too open. And we can be beautiful open people who, I'm someone who's like, you know what, most of the time I'm of the belief that if I'm vibrating at my highest frequency, I don't have to obsess about like energy cleanses and all the rest, because I'm a natural transformer of energy, right? For me and for the collective. However, we're still all human and we can fall prey to this kind of stuff. So it's really important actually to like to find your unique ways of fortifying your mental field, having mental energy. And don't focus so much on like someone's throwing me the evil eye. It's not about that. It's more if we think about the radio waves, we can't see them. We don't know what happens there. And most people don't even have power to put information in there. We actually all do. But like if we turn on the radio station, you're not hearing me right now. You have to come to this YouTube page and blah blah blah. But do we know the producers? And we might hear the hosts, but do we know the producers? Do we know the people that own those radio stations? Do we know what they talk about in their meetings when they're planning the vibration of the words that their hosts are speaking and the music that they're playing as well into the collective field? We don't. So think about that cosmically as well, that there are people who know how to play with the radio waves of the ether. And that's not just the stuff we pick up on the radio. This has the potential to reach us and infect us on it's a conscious and subconscious level. So I feel like I can speak to this because I understand how difficult it is to turn this card over to be in the position of power. And the reason why either you may be targeted or you may be sensitive to all of this energy coming at you is because you are actually at that higher point where you know better, you know more. Doesn't make you better than other people. You just have had enough time to contemplate and actually do the work and take the lessons and really sit with them and feel them and think about them and ponder them, that you understand more now than you did before, or you understand more now than many other people do about what's really happening in the world. And none of us have all the answers, but we can have a sense that something is either not right, something is has a controlling energy, something is trying to lie to us, and what's the purpose of that? What emotion do I feel? Like something that I've noticed in the news when I do check the news page, for instance, when something big is happening, right? um There'll be a repetition of words in multiple headlines that I don't think I caught before. I don't know if it's a new trend or if it's just like something that always happened, but I had to get to the point of seeing it. Kind of like when you start seeing the angel numbers, right? They're probably always there, but you just weren't open to seeing them. That there would be very specific words repeated over and over in like maybe 3 or 4 headlines very close to each other that will say should shock you or terrifying or something like that, scary. So it's just this like repetition of, and words are spells. That's the other thing. Words are spells. So we speak those spells into reality, but also other people are speaking them, and are we receiving those spells? So if we go back to reverse, this is going to be an ongoing thing for us to overcome, that we're going to be challenged mentally through the collective field. It's going to impact us personally, though, on a personal level. Just know that you're not crazy. Just know that you're strong. Know that it's not you creating this, and that you have to, there's lots of resources as well that work for other people. For me, something really powerful and helpful is actually Abraham Hicks. Just reminding myself of the teaching of someone even on a hill higher up than me, who's able to help me mentally contextualize what was actually happening and get myself out of my head and actually feeling in control of what the spells that I could cast on myself to cast out other spells. Now, this all sounds really like magical, but it's actually very practical because we all have thoughts all day in our heads, and we know. I think the concept of contrast really helped me. So if you have a thought and it makes you feel bad, there's actually a practical reason why you feel bad. It's because it's showing you the contrast of how you're supposed to feel. And the worse you feel, the further away you are from how you're supposed to feel, which is good, right? So if your thoughts are triggering those actual feelings in you, remember how strong you are. Remember that. Work with your physical crystals, right? To kind of remove these like blocks that have been put onto your like really important energetic channels. And yeah, just remember your power. That's all I'm going to say here. And our challenge this year is to go from feeling under attack, heavy and dense in the head and all the thoughts we're carrying, to much more in control and powerful in our defense mechanisms against this kind of energy that's projected onto us constantly. All right. The last one is spiritual. Oh, I didn't talk about the blue sky too. I started talking about it, but then I didn't finish it. The blue sky here, so there's no clouds. That's great. He's not. His thoughts aren't clouded. He is aligned with the truth of what is. But if this sky was grey, this would be very, very kind of dark mind programming stuff. But actually, it's a blue sky. So things aren't that bad. So even if they're trying to tell you things are terrible, look around you, go outside. Are the birds affected by this information? No, they're not. Just like go outside and actually soak up the physical reality that's been gifted to us, to receive in these human bodies, and you'll know the truth. All right. So the last card that I'm pulling for 2025 is spiritual. What is the spiritual energy for the collective for this year? What are the spiritual lessons that we're going to be receiving? What is the incredible wisdom that will be activated within us? Spiritual. It's funny how I had one like really intense jumper at the very beginning, which was the archetype card. And since then, the cards have wanted me to reveal them. All right, spiritual. Let's receive the spiritual lesson for 2025. All right. Oh, amazing. The Ace of Swords. And what an incredible, incredible journey to get to this card after all of what we've been talking about around the challenging games and shenanigans that can be at play this year, but the incredible spiritual activation, the spiritual journey that they're going to take us on, and the falling away of the control mechanisms that used to like control our thoughts and the emotions they would trigger, to the point where now we have this incredible Ace of Swords. Amazing. I love this for us. I love this for us. So, swords, as you know, this is about the mental realm. It's about communication. It's about our thoughts, our ideas. It's about our perceptions and understandings of things. And also in this context as well, it's about amazing wisdom and activation, and an incredible, I love it. I'm so excited to unpack this card with you given what we've been talking about. So see this sword. So first of all, anytime we have an ace, we have this beautiful hand from the heavens gifting us something very, very special. And the sword is this amazing new start for our thoughts and our perceptions of reality, of the communication that we are using with each other. And what's symbolizing this is this amazing sword piercing the crown. And so this is like a full activation of the upper chakras for us. How exciting is that? All right. And again, we see some mountains in the background. Yes, they are challenges that lie ahead, but they're also challenges that we know we've transited through and overcome before. So that's super exciting. We have this new gift of, remember how I said when these cards are reversed, the swords can be falling out of his hands. So those levers that the controllers of our physical reality, of our 3D, have been pulling, that would trigger these emotional reactions in us, that we're all of a sudden too strong for them, right? We have new powers, and our powers up here are enacted. We're now and we've created defense mechanisms mentally. We've been able to make sure that we have what we need materially, but we're also like removing the blocks that have been placed to block our magic as creators around programs to do with money and lack, and how we can't do anything without it. this is piercing through all of that, and it's this incredible new beginning for us from a mental perspective. So this is a fantastic gift for the collective. We're going through a collective almost healing and refreshing, and I want to say, like, to get to this point there has to be like a massive defrag that happens, like a huge defrag, because at the end of the swords journey, before we, like, start it all again, um it's a complete ending and a kind of devastation. Like, our thoughts have the potential to kill us. But what does that create? An absolute new beginning, a complete resurrection. And this is a gift that's being handed to us this year. That if we can, like, stand in our power and align with our authenticity and see through the bullshit and the nonsense, our minds will be refreshed through that process, and our, like, collective mental energy field, they won't understand it because it's it's new, it's different, it's powerful. It's almost like the computer, like, that you've used for the I've got a Mac and they last forever, so I have them for like 10 years, right? My MacBook's just not it's time for a new one, right? And whatever viruses might have been on my old computer, they're not there once I get a new one. Let's also say I've got a new modem and everything else. I've moved, they can infect lots of things, and a new phone and all the rest. It's a complete mental refresh, right? It's a complete reset have not how we think, but of, like, the I want to say the mainframe, the collective mainframe, that we have, like, new software that's, like, more advanced than what they're used to using, and all of a sudden they're going to play catch up with us because we've become too powerful. We've become more powerful than them. Their silly viruses don't work on us anymore. Their mind viruses, they're brain worms. Okay. So also their words, the spells that they're casting, because Swords is about communication. The spells that they're casting are like, they don't hold the same power over us anymore. It's so powerful. So what we're going to be seeing, I'm not even saying seeing a violent falling away of these communication systems and sources that have been used to control us, and programs and spells. It's more that they've dissolved. They're dissolving. It's not even that violent. We're not going to go through some massive upheaval. I feel like this is the same as talking about technology as well, because swords are the ultimate technology. As well as the coins, but the technology of taking metals from the earth and forging into something that's either, like, can be used for harm, like, a sword can hurt, but it's also a knife and a blade that can be very, very, like, helpful to us, just to cook a meal, what we do without a knife. So it's the height of technology, this sword, if we're looking at the symbols of the tarot. And um the technology is renewed and refreshed this year as well. So that might mean that the intentions for the use of the existing technology change and evolve, and we have a new start. We have a reset collectively, and this is spiritual. So this isn't us choosing it. This isn't us humans choosing it. That the intention for the collective from our higher source and the cosmic controllers of this reality, the not the nefarious ones, right? Their intention for us is to have a complete reset of this kind of technology. So we get to decide how we're using it moving forward. This can also mean new advances in technology, so that AI might evolve to the point where it's actually, like, helping us activate our energetic centers, and this crown, especially the highest form of wisdom, right? This isn't like this, that we're going to be challenged to do this. This is just a gift being given to us. So what I'm feeling is that this is an incredible advancement spiritually for us, that our channels, there's going to be a dissolution of the sources of just shitty information, right? They're just going to lose their power this year, and they're kind of going to dissolve. Then we also have a reset and a refresh, like we're buying a new computer for and downloading completely new apps, right? For the channels of communication, the ways that we receive information. This might even be an intentional cosmic refresh of the internet, right? I don't know what that means or looks like. I should have said this in the beginning, but I don't do, like, actual predictions. This is feeling into the energy so that we can actually learn our lessons, right? We're not preempting what's going to happen. We're feeling into how things, we're feeling into how we can best evolve, basically. So let's see. Even just like our protective powers piercing the power structure of the crown, because even the crown has been subverted. The crown, it should belong to like our highest God, right? But we have people on earth who ordain themselves with the power between man and God and wear these crowns, that we are even taking our like incredible gift and piercing through that, where we wear the crown, right? We wear the crown. We are our own power. We are our own controller. We are our own creator. We are magicians, but we are also sovereign. This is an incredible sovereignty. And sovereignty, on the one hand, it's our like full, it's our nature of being, that we are all beautifully, divinely sovereign, in complete control of ourselves. No one can truly own or control us because they can't control our soul, they can't control our heart, unless maybe you do some kind of shady deal and you sign that away. But like, you know, I'm not talking to people who've done that. So we can't be controlled. This is all perception that's not actually real. And so, what this is showing me is that spiritually, we're going to be reminded this year, we're going to be shown, the universe is going to show us and gift us this remembering of the fact that we are actually sovereign. And again, sovereign is our being, but it's also a mental concept. So it's a reframing and a renewal of what sovereignty even means, right? Sovereignty doesn't belong to the King of England and like at our expense, right? I mean, literally it does. But what I mean is, it doesn't only belong to the King of England. We can claim our sovereignty too. This is what this card is representing, us claiming our sovereignty. And that basically just comes through belief. That's all it takes. And where does belief kind of begin? The belief begins in the knowing, but then it takes our mental space, our mind, and our internal dialogue to like how do I describe it, to instill that belief, to deepen that belief, to materialize that belief, to make it real. So this is what I'm seeing here, which is incredible. Is there anything else that wants to come through from a spiritual perspective? I think the other thing is, it's a powerful, powerful time for new ideas. This represents new ideas that are going to serve us spiritually. So, from a personal level, if you've been thinking about doing something or sharing something that is part of your truth, part of your purpose, part of your mission, it's a beautiful time to do that. If you have a project, if you have an idea, whatever it might be, even if it's just for the first time, speaking your truth, because that is such a powerful tool in manifesting the reality that you desire. This is the time to do it, because this is so new. The threat of judgment has fallen away, right? No one even knows what to expect this year. Don't be afraid. You are strong enough. You are strong enough. You've built up the protections, right? You're going through that process. You have what you need. And the old fears are falling away. The old controls are falling away. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to speak what you want into reality. Don't be afraid to share your truth. Don't be afraid to start um, the mental process of putting into action what you've been planning, but haven't yet been able to create for yourself. And yeah, go into the playful space of the new in the minds. This is, while imagination is somewhat cups territory, it's also swords territory, because we need to allow our mind to go into the play space. And in this new reality, there's so much space for us to play and imagine and envision. So that's what I invite you to do as well, because this is going to be an incredible spiritually activating, like not just time but process and thing to do, to allow yourself to play, to explore. Um, and that takes clearing some space in the mind to allow yourself to do that. Think about our inner child, or when we were children, we didn't have all of the responsibilities and the things we have to think about now every moment of the day. We had much less, and that gave us more space to play. And so see how you can do that for yourself, because it's going to create so much new beauty and so much new stimulation, inspiration. This is a fantastic symbol of inspiration here. Yeah, amazing. Let's just line this up to this card as well. Yeah, see, what I'm seeing here is these old swords of control falling away, and the new swords being given to you. Source is saying, the universe is saying, don't worry about the swords that they hold. They don't mean anything. They don't hold any power. Take this sword. This sword is powerful, and go for it. Use it to create. Use it to protect yourself as a beautiful, think of like an angelic shield, that we don't want to actually hurt people with our swords, but we want to be able to, like the Queen of Swords does this so beautifully in her card. The sword is placed between her and everyone, not to scare them or threaten them, but to kind of share with them her wisdom and her knowledge, in a very open way. It's not sneaky and hidden. It's like very open and transparent. So yeah, take take all that resonates. I think I had something in the chat here. Let's see. Sorry, I'm using a different tool and I can't see. Slasher Steve, thank you for joining us, Slasher Steve. If you're still here, opposite of futility. Yeah, I think you must have been talking about this one, or maybe this one. And absolutely, I think there's been so much futility. Um, there's been so much futility over the past few years, both. I think so many people felt like they wanted to step into their authenticity and actually share truthfully how they were perceiving reality. Think about the time during the pandemic, but not only did people feel scared because of all of this, and more importantly, this, um, it was also kind of futile. Like the agenda was so set and so many people were bought into it, that it was kind of futile. And the other things we can feel like just the mundane aspect of our reality is futile as well. And it is, but it doesn't have to be. And so that's where, if we can, like, live our authenticity and our sovereignty, things are no longer futile. There's amazing creativity that can occur. There's amazing advancement. There is meaning and purpose that appears. So, yeah, I don't see any futility in these cards at all. And even this Four of Pentacles for our physical reality and our physical bodies and stuff, and our financial positions, I don't see this as futile, because we still have what we need, and we're preparing ourselves for the future. This is another aspect of the card that I didn't really pick up on before. A lot of what happens with us financially is for the future, right? So it's either we might be saving or we're spending, but whatever it is, it serves us in the future. So because this present moment, I'm not really using any money right now. It's not really part of anything I'm thinking about apart from this card. But I will need it when I want to go get a coffee later, for instance. So it's kind of like, how do I describe it? Nothing is futile, even when you're potentially being in a protective mode, or even when you feel like you're being blocked, because we know that it's a challenge that we're going to get through. That it's our work to, if we feel controlled by the programs around money, to reprogram them for ourselves, or to block out that negative information that's making us feel trapped or blocked or scared or capped or limited or whatever it might be. Yeah, okay. There's some pretty powerful cards. There's some challenges in there for sure. And there's some amazing opportunities and really powerful portals for transformation. And I'm really excited to have been able to share this with you guys. A couple of things from me. If you would like your own 2025 reading for the year ahead, you can book those with me on my website, crystaloratarot.com, or leave a comment on this video and I'll send you the details. But I'll be able to read. I'll be able to read the energies for you and how this specifically affects you throughout the year. Some of my favorite readings to do. And what else can I share? If you would like free tarot resources, I'm going to be spending much more time on YouTube this year. Not only doing tarot reads like this, but actually teaching tarot because that's my favorite thing to do and my greatest gift and service that I offer at the moment. So if you would like to learn tarot, make sure you subscribe to my channel and also check out my website. I've got some lots of tarot resources and tips there, and sign up for my newsletter. So you'll be able to receive monthly energy readings for the collective, and also like just whatever I feel called to share as far as tarot wisdom goes each month. And you'll also be notified of events coming up or new courses. I will be running Tarot Foundations again this year. So if that sounds interesting to you, it's a pathway to tarot mastery after over a 12-week container. If you would like to be a part of that, there's a waiting list on my website you can sign up for. And I will also pop all of these links into the description for the replay of this live. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been an honor and a pleasure, as always, to tap into the energy with you and for you. And I would love to hear what you think about the cards that have popped up and the energies that we've talked about for 2025. So if you've got any of your own insights or questions or feedback, pop that in the comments. I would love to hear. All right. That's it from me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wish you all the very best, the most expansive, transformational, powerful 2025. We're all in this together. I'm with you guys. Bye bye.